Welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison. Arizona football season is quickly approaching as training camp is less than 10 days away. The Wildcats get started on the 30th with training camp. 29th, I believe there's going to be a media day there too. But Arizona obviously is getting geared up for the 2025 season after having a disappointing 2024 season under then new football coach Brent Brennan, who is entering his second season with the Wildcats. Arizona went 4-8. A lot of issues on the offensive side of the ball with Dino Babers as the offense coordinator. A lot of issues on the defensive side of the ball in terms of health. I think Dwayne Aquina did a decent job for all the injuries that he had to overcome and face, try to, piece it together. But it was too many injuries to deal with. Jacob Manu went down. You had guys like Tai Ugalele go down. DeCario Davis was down for some time. Genesis Smith, I think, stayed pretty much healthy. You had Gunnar Maldonado down, Dalton Johnson down, just to name a few. They were dropping like flies on the defensive side of the ball. So Arizona revamped its coaching staff, hired new DC, Danny Gonzalez, promoting him from within, going out and getting Seth Dagey as the offense coordinator. I think it's a very good get, more of an up-tempo guy. Spread comes from the spread background with the Mike Leach system, Sonny Dykes system, but more of a traditional, I would say, up-tempo offense. You saw Marshall, they were running for 20th in rushing nationally last season. I think he's a very good offense coordinator, and we'll see what he could do at Arizona. But offensively, one of the major things was the health of the Arizona's offensive line. That's another position where they're dropping like flies. Arizona started behind the eight ball with Raymond Polito, quitting football, still being part of the university, but ending his career in football. He hasn't transferred anywhere. To my knowledge, he isn't playing as of right now. So they started behind the eight ball there, and then some injuries piled up. You had to move Jonas Ivanea from right tackle to left tackle once Rhino went down. And again, he's more of a traditional guard, but he's played the tackle position at an elite level and an NFL level, in my opinion. And you had Josh Baker that, he was kind of like the stabilizing force there for the offensive line at the center position, which I think a lot of people overlook, given that, you're in the middle of the line, you're protected by both guards, you're protected by the tackle, but it's a lot of responsibility. It's usually the highly intelligent football player out there on the field is at center, navigating the offensive line, making sure everybody's set up in the right position, and looking at coverage schemes, blitz schemes, making sure everybody knows where it's coming from and getting your guys in the right spot. That's what Josh Baker did at Arizona for 5 seasons. Started in 50-plus games, a solid college offensive center for the Wildcats, has been kind of working with the team during spring practice, helping the new centers get ready for the season. I don't know if he's going to be a permanent addition to the coaching staff or if that was just an off-season thing for him. But, Arizona struggled in spring football, to be really frank, at the center position. You saw Grayson Stovall, you saw Dikemba transferred in. He played there, and Isa, who played there as well. And they all had their struggles. I would say Grayson Stovall was the most solid out of the bunch. He still had issues in the blocking scheme, a little bit undersized for the position, moved fairly well. No snapping issues from what I can remember with Grayson Stovall. And, just the communication on the line wasn't great. It wasn't there. Again, you're trying to work with several new pieces on the line, not only at the center position, but at left tackle, right guard, this and that. So it was kind of a mix and match situation there. But the center position struggled. And you saw with Dikemba, the snaps were wild. You saw snaps above the quarterback's head, to the right of the quarterback, to the left of the quarterback, a little bit low at times. And that was really for both backup centers. Nobody really could get a grasp of getting the ball to the quarterback, which is a big problem. You can't have bad snaps. Arizona's fans have seen that before when they moved in the Rich Rod era, their right guard to center. I can't remember the guy's name for the life of me right now, but he struggled, and that was the guy that was projected to be potentially an all-conference right guard for Arizona. He had to play the center position. It didn't work out very well. It's a difficult position. So I think this training camp, one of the top priorities for the Wildcats is getting that straight, because I think that's going to kind of settle things on the offensive line, even with injuries. If you have a center that can, man the middle, I think that will spell success for the Wildcats in the running game and potentially the passing game as well, calling out blitz schemes, making sure everybody's in the right place, and really settling Fafita down and the rest of the line down. Fafita's a leader, but you need sometimes a good center to get everything back in order. The quarterback positions looked at like the catcher position in baseball, the point guard position in basketball in terms of the leadership out there. But the center position is too, to be quite frank. You kind of have to understand the offensive playbook as a whole. You have to understand where everybody's going. You have to understand the defensive playbook and realize where the blitz is coming and pick up those blitzes and make sure everybody's in the right spot. So right now, Arizona doesn't have that. And I think that's a massive issue heading into the season. I think Arizona is going to be a bowl team. I do think they're going to go 7-5, 6-6, somewhere around that number. I do think it's going to be an improved Arizona Wildcat football team, but they got to figure out that center position. I think everything stems there, and especially when you're in an up-tempo offense, a high-powered offense with Seth Dagan, what he wants to do, you can't have mistakes. You can't have a bad snap that's going to put you behind the 8 ball. Rich Rod and Jed always talked about it. You want to be playing in front of the 8 ball. You want to be at least getting 3 to 4 yards on that first play, being ahead of schedule. You want to be ahead of your schedule, because if you get behind, even if it's a 2-yard loss, now you're trying to make that up. You're not in your up-tempo offense. You're not getting the defense worn down. You're struggling, and it just puts you behind on that drive and causes issues on that drive. So Arizona's got to find a stabilizing force there. We've even seen Chuba Maye go from D tackle to now offensive line. Now, he didn't play a position on the line during spring ball. They were kind of working him out in terms of getting in shape and going through drills and stuff like that, getting him adjusted to the new position. But he's going to be on the offensive line. And if you look back in high school, and I think even a little bit in junior college, Chuba Maye played center. So I think that could be another option for Arizona, is seeing the big fella right there. If he could get the snaps down and has the durability to play in this up-tempo, air raid style offense that they think he's going to run, I think he's a clear option for Arizona. They also have some transfers coming in and incoming freshmen, but I think it's an open battle at that center position. Grayson Stovall was the most steady in spring practice, but I don't know if you can roll with him being the starting center going into the 2025 season. I don't know if he can be a starting D1 center. I think he's a solid guard, left or right guard, but having him play the center position, to me, that's a lot to ask for. But we'll see. I mean, he's going to get his opportunity. I can't tell you right off the bat who's going to be working with the first team. I mean, that's how chaotic it was for Arizona during spring practice with the center position. So I think there's some options there in terms of the incoming freshmen. Again, some transfers that they added after spring ball, I think there could be some options there. But it's a position that Brett Brennan and Josh Oglesby are going to be tediously working to get corrected, because you want to have that, to me, figured out midway through training camp. That way, everybody's implementing the system. They understand what they're doing, and you're building that bond not only with the center and the rest of the line, you're building that bond with Noah Fafita in the center. I think the center quarterback bond is massive. I think that's something that is underappreciated in college football, underappreciated in football in general. But you've seen it throughout NFL history, throughout football history. You think of Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning, the dynamic duo that they were. Jeff Saturday, a highly intelligent football player, maybe a little bit undersized for the NFL back then, just was smart as hell. And Peyton Manning being the meticulously, smart, breaking down defenses type of dude. They just gelled well, and they went on to have tremendous success in Indianapolis. And I think a lot of that stemmed from that relationship. So if you're able to figure that out, and Arizona's able to figure that out, I think it bodes well for Arizona. I think it bodes well for Noah Fafita. And I think you're going to be looking at a football team that's going to be winning 6, 7, maybe even 8 games at the high mark in terms of the regular season, if they upset a team or two along the way. But one thing's for sure, we'll figure this all out during training camp, and we'll have more updates throughout training camp and letting you know how that center position battle is going. So join us next time.